This is Audi's first Lamborghini. I'm not a huge Lambo fan, to be honest. It's not at all perfect. It is a fast car, but it is not super fast.
Special cars, rare bikes and airplanes. This is what drives me. I'm Philip and I'm the Driven Aviator. Welcome to my channel.
Hi car lovers and petrol heads, welcome back to Driven Aviator channel. Let's welcome the Gallardo, Audi's first Lamborghini. Wait, what? Yeah, this is Audi's first Lamborghini, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so to start today's video, let's talk briefly about the history of the Lamborghini Gallardo. Well, it was back in 2003, so nearly 20 years ago, that Lamborghini was making some beautiful and very special V12 cars, like the Murcielago, which was the current model at that time, but it wasn't making any money. Audi was just buying Lamborghini a few years ago, and of course, one of Audi's main aims was to make Lamborghini a profitable company, because that is, what it's about when you make some cars, to stay alive with your company. So there was one other Italian automaker which was indeed making profit, and it was with V8 small models, and that was Ferrari. Ferrari was at that time selling the F360 Modena. It was quite a successful car. Lamborghini's aim was to... People like that car. It was Lamborghini's aim to put a little smaller car than the Murcielago on the market, competitor for the F360. The result was the Gallardo. The Gallardo had its debut in 2003, and the reactions were kind of great because, I mean, look at the design of this car. It's nearly 20 years old and it has aged pretty well, if it aged at all. I mean, look at this window line, look at the mirrors, look at everything still looks extremely pretty, in my opinion. All the Lambo fan guys will hate me for that thing. I'm not a huge Lambo fan, to be honest, especially not of the new models. A few years ago I was owning a Lamborghini Huracan and I sold this car, to be honest. But I will talk about why I don't like the modern Lamborghinis, why I don't like them later on in this video. 2003, the Gallardo was on market. It was actually pretty cheap for a Lamborghini, so the base price was 160,000 euros. Some people even called that car the Porsche Boxster of Lamborghini, which, isn't that kind of a compliment, but it made its way, and after all production years, a whole total of 13,000 Lamborghini Gallardos was sold. So for that time, the Gallardo was Lamborghini's most successful model at all. Pretty great success for a company that wasn't earning money before. The history of the different Gallardo versions is pretty simple. So when it came out in 2003, you had the 5.0 V10 engine. It is exactly this engine, and it's a special engine. It's also called the Bizzarini engine because it's different to all other Gallardo versions that had its debut later on. But we come to that later as well. The 2003 version had a 500 horsepower engine. There was a small facelift in 2006, which is like this car. You had an increase to 520 horsepower. You had a shorter gear ratio, you had a different axle system and some small minor refinements. Not a great facelift on all. Optics were still the same. There was a huge facelift in 2008. That was one when the Gallardo LP560 had its debut. And the LP560 had a totally new engine, which was pretty similar to the Audi engine because it has 5.2 liter V10 and the new electronics, different Egear-system, and so on. So the LP560 was a huge step for Lamborghini. Some of the old Lamborghini fans like it, some other guys like me don't like it, because when Lamborghini changed to the LP560, it lost a lot of its toughness, roughness, this visceral driving experience the old Gallardos had to offer is not existent for an LP560. It starts with the sound. The sound is completely different. There were also Superleggera versions. The first Superleggera came in, I think, in 2008. There was another Superleggera LP570 of the facelift version. And there was a final facelift of the Gallardo, which came onto market in 2012. I think in 2013, the last Gallardo was built and the Lamborghini Huracan entered the market. That's the history of the Gallardo. Okay. Do you hear that? The new Lambos, in my opinion, they are too soft. And yeah, he heard that right. They are too soft. These cars are they are show cars. They are not like other cars. They are not racetrack derived, in my opinion. The older a Lambo gets, the better it is, in my opinion. So, of course, the old cars like the Diablo or the Murcielago. I once drove an LP640 Murcielago Roadster. This was one of the greatest experiences in any car I had ever. That's the reason why I bought a first generation Gallardo with the small facelift in 2006 and the old engine. And that is the most important thing ever at this car. The old engine, which by the way was developed in cooperation with Cosworth, as I told you, has a capacity of 5.0 liters. It is a 90 degrees engine and it has an even firing order. And that is important, and that is the reason why you have this beautiful sound. Only those old engines will give you this perfect Lamborghini V10 sound. We can show you some comparison to the newer ones like the LP560. There's no comparison, to be honest. The newer ones sound crappy. And same goes for the Huracan. Nice V10 sound, but no comparison to this old even firing order V10. I'm not a big fan of automatic gearboxes and all that stuff, so most of my cars are manual, but I opted for this one as an E-gear. Why is that? Because the E-gear is an old school gearbox, and the E-gear perfectly matches this visceral driving experience because it's rough, it's shaky, it's not at all perfect. This is not a perfect gearbox. This is what makes it special. So this gearbox perfectly matches to this engine. This car drives extremely stable. I mean, it's the same chassis and the same suspension as the first generation Audi R8, which is an awesome chassis. It's an aluminum. It's an aluminum.
Hä?
Kannst du nicht aussprechen? Aluminum. So it's an aluminum. Aluminum. So it's an aluminum. In Germany we called it aluminium. So it's a space frame similar to the one of the Audi R8, which is pretty rigid and pretty stiff and stable up to top speeds of 340 kilometers per hour, which is extremely good. There are not many cars you can drive with like two fingers at 340 kilometers per hour, and I did that in the Gallardo, so absolutely no problem at all. Of course, I mean, it's an all-wheel drive, and even though most of the power goes to the rear, I think it's an 80% on the rear, 20% at the front. It can be 50-50 in slippery situations, but in general, most of the power goes to the rear. It's a different type of driving compared to a car like the Corvette 06 or the Ferrari models I mentioned before. It is a fast car, but it is not super fast. So, of course, compared to modern cars, nobody's looking for 520 horsepower. I think it's even kind of lame today. For a smooth ride on some country roads or on the Autobahn, 500 horsepower is the perfect fit. because it's not too much, it's not too less. Yeah, it's a perfect fit for a country road trip. So that was my little review, my little test drive of the Lamborghini Gallardo first generation. I hope you liked it. I'm looking forward to your comments and see you soon at the next Driven Aviator review. Bye bye.
Driven hard in the clouds, fly so high, shout it loud.